So looking at Talk Show Man's effort in the Maryland Million Turf last fall, that was an interesting race with a couple of killers. Ben's Cat, who's a millionaire, and two-time defending champ Roadhog, who's won over $600,000. Here's a horse not going to get the best trip, Gabby.
He's also being bumped around a lot looking at this replay going into that first turn. A, he's extremely wide, and B, he is kind of bounced off his feet a little bit going into that first turn, and you see the likes of Ben's Cat and Roadhog kind of get the jump on him in front of him, and it takes some time to really get him to settle from off the pace under Xavier Perez. Talk Show Man makes this really sharp middle move, just leaving the backstretch into that final turn. And you see Ben's Cat kind of on the inside and Roadhog just to his outside. Xavier Perez is really getting into this horse. Doesn't look like he's going to do much. Then he decides to blow the turn here. You can see Ben's Cat kind of cutting the corner as well as Roadhog. And they did save ground, much more ground in comparison to Talk Show Man. But look at this just gritty performance. He's so tenacious coming down the stretch. He knows exactly where Roadhog is, where Ben's Cat is, and he knows exactly where the wire is in order to get up in time to get the victory in the Maryland Million Turf.
And King Leatherbury had said that this was the horse that he was worried about, not Roadhog, and he turned out to be correct about that.
Yeah.
So this is Talk Show Man's return. He was off for several months after falling in the Dickie Small Stakes at Laurel, and here he's coming back in a pretty good allowance field. It's a small field, but it's got some real runners in it. He's not the favorite here. The favorite is Sarah, the 5-horse, who's dueling on the lead with a little bit of a longer shot named Warrior of the Roses.
And you could argue that he had the perfect setup because you can see Warrior of the Rose is a very speedy horse. You see Saro, a very speedy horse. They're just really knocking heads out there on the front end. So obviously that pace will come back to him. And the other question that I think you have to pose is, what did he really beat? I know he wasn't the favorite in that, but we have seen Saro kind of on a decline in form in the past couple of starts. I don't think that it's a good question to pose on a dirt race, but I don't really think it's relevant as it pertains to this turf race because, as you and I were talking, he's better on the turf. At least he was before coming into his dirt race, and pops up with a 105 Beyer speed figure.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty huge performance, and you're right. I mean, it all goes his own way here, but he closes very sharply, gets a career-high Beyer, and as you say, all the evidence we've had to date in his career is that he's better on the lawn. And if he's better on the lawn in the Henry S. Clark, he's the winner of the Henry S. Clark.
I completely agree with you. And look at the confident ride that Xavier Perez is giving Talk Show Man in this event. I think he looked underneath of his legs there about 3 times in the stretch alone. Gave him a good little pat there at the wire too. So a very sharp performance for Talk Show Man on the dirt. And as you said, if he can improve off of that dirt effort, getting to the turf tomorrow or in the Henry S. Clark on Saturday's card, he's going to be the horse to beat.
Yeah, and if you get 4-1 on him, which is what his morning line odds are, I think you take that. I think you use it all sorts of ways in exotics, including multi-race wagers, because he's a super live runner at that price.
Super versatile too. He's definitely proven his talent.